Chapter 11, Dream of the Red Chamber, 10. The old lady was choking, but Nan Hoa did not stop her. She waited until she had scolded enough, before letting the maid get water and help her clean up. Mother, the two brothers and sisters are both grandfathers and grandmothers. Making them kneel like this is really unsightly. You should vent your anger. Let's sit down and talk it out. Kneeling like this is too unsightly. Jia's mother snorted, not knowing whether or not she had calmed down from scolding for a while, so she did not object. Nan Hoa quickly ran and signaled the maids to help them up. On the way there, Nan Hoa learned a few things from that servant. Whether it was from a logical or emotional standpoint, Nan Hoa felt that Wang Shi had really gone too far this time. So, she saw that Lu Shi's eyes were red and swollen from crying, so she asked her directly, "Sister-in-law, what's wrong? What a big deal, how did it get to this point?" Lu Shi wiped her tears, fiercely took a deep breath and looked straight at Jia mother. "Mother. That day, Yuan Chun wanted to go to the imperial examination, our eldest family did not agree, it was you who said parents' orders, matchmaker's words, you had no choice. And the second brother's family also ignored our opinions. This is a matter related to the whole family. Now, Lian is the child I fought for my life to give birth to. I have worried for more than 10 years, how come I can't even make a decision on his marriage?" "Who said you can't make your own decisions? It's just a secret talk with Wang Shi. In the end it's up to you and your husband to decide." "Who dares to decide for you?" Jia's mother couldn't take it anymore, she forcefully slapped the bed under her. "Speaking secretly, I'm afraid mother is just speaking secretly, someone has already announced it everywhere. The servants of the Wang family outside are all saying that Lian and their young lady want to get married, now half of the capital already knows. If our Lian doesn't marry, won't it be a shameless reputation?" Lu Shi knew that Jia mother wasn't telling the truth, but she didn't care. Today, what she really wanted to care about was the second house. It hasn't been decided? Which young lady who hasn't been decided would be so shamelessly say outside that she's engaged to a man? I'm really curious, Lian's birth date is still in my hands, which Jia Lian is this supposed to be? The Wang Shi was so angry that their faces turned purple. The Lu family was scolding their Wang family's daughters for being shameless. Eldest sister-in-law, there was no exchange of birth certificates, where did the engagement come from? Just a mere servant outside talking nonsense, you take it seriously? Although my Wang family is not a big family, but Shifeng has her uncle living there, where would she worry about marrying? I just saw that Shifeng's personality is similar to yours when you were young, and felt that Lian and her age were very compatible, so I was quick-witted and brought up a sentence. I haven't even mentioned my maternal family yet. Jia Shi heard it from outside the screen and coldly snorted, "You haven't said anything yet," but Wang's family people came to acknowledge their relationship, saying one sentence after another that Shifeng aunt was a good matchmaker. Wang Shi could not believe that this would come out and was momentarily speechless. Seeing that Wang Shi did not speak, Jia Jing immediately concluded that the matter was indeed as the eldest sister-in-law said. He was extremely ashamed and kept bowing to Jia Shi, but criticized Wang Shi for losing propriety. But Lu Shi would not let them go like that. She had waited so long, endured so long, to finally get the opportunity. Of course, she wanted to confirm the family division. Sure enough, Jia Shi outside started a fuss with Jia Jing, mentioning in his words that many second rooms used Jia Shi's name to do immoral things. Inside, Jia mother was angry, so she only aimed to scold her first son, Jia. She seemed to be a coward of several decades now released, no one could stop him. Jia's mother immediately scolded Lu Shi. Lu Shi kept shedding tears, crying and recounting her hardships in managing the house, suffering all kinds of grievances. Jia's mother scolded her again, but she just listened, but did not go to stop Jia Shi. Nan Hoa also just advised Jia mother, the two older brothers are both grown up, there is no need to worry too much. In her opinion, Jia Shi and his wife are actually considered soft-hearted, they will definitely serve Jia mother well. And Jia Jing is an old-fashioned scholar. He cannot be unfilial to his mother, so whether or not the family is separated, it has no effect on Jia mother. Why does Jia mother have to mix here? After a day of chaos, everyone was tired. Nan Hoa gave the family a message and stayed to take care of Jia's mother. At night, Jia's mother sighed, and Nan Hoa relied on her own thoughts to advise her for a long time. After midnight, there was no sound, and it was unknown whether she could not hear it. Early in the morning, Bao Yu came in to greet him, seemingly unaware of yesterday's quarrel. Seeing Nan Hoa there, he looked around, repeatedly asking Lin Daiyu if he was also coming. Jia's mother originally wanted to talk to her daughter about the marriage of the two children, but thinking about what her daughter said last night, her words were not very favorable towards the second family, and she was also not happy about the things in her heart that were not resolved, so she did not say anything. Once the family really split up, Jia's mother saw clearly that Bao Yu's status would be low. Nan Hoa could not see Bao Yu, but had to say, this child really grew up well. Unfortunately he was naturally talented but not well nurtured, he was nothing more than a useless rock. Bao Yu actually has a clear mind and can see things when they're bad, but he has a weak personality and can't take responsibility. He knows the darkness in society and his family, and he doesn't stand up alone to bear it and change assertively, only knows how to avoid reality, whether it's okay or not. Daiyu is currently being educated by Lin Ruhai as a young boy, and often comes into contact with the 10th imperial grandson and the others. Seeing that she is much stronger than Bao Yu, he has long been on different paths with Bao Yu. Bao brother is good, but he is a bit ignorant and naive. These were the words of Daiyu, who was 7 years old when she met Bao Yu once. Nan Hoa and Lin Ruhai were extremely surprised at her maturity of thought. Nan Hoa finished breakfast and returned to Lin Mansion. After all, it was the Jia family's matter, she, a married woman, should not interfere. Roughly half a month later, the capital was extremely bustling with the news of the Ronghua Prefecture's division of the residence. The so-called separate residence is the eldest brother's family. The second brother's family cut the scope of Ronghua Mansion. The two rooms are completely separated, the corresponding courtyards each open the main gate. This is considering that Jia's mother is still there. Everyone knows this position. If Jia's mother is no longer there, the two rooms are completely two families. As for the reason for this uproar, there were also many theories. Some people said that for so many years, the second family had been living in the main courtyard of the Ronghua Mansion. Some people say that the second room wife ignored the eldest room parents to decide the engagement for her nephew, and the engagement was still with her own maternal daughter. Some people also said that Jiashi was useless and lost all his family assets, so Jia's mother split the family first. Therefore, the most innocent person who was affected was Wang Shifeng, and her reputation was almost ruined. Wang Zitong was so angry that he wanted to draw his sword and kill someone. He also blamed his younger sister Wang Shi even more, and needless to say, the Ronghua Mansion. The two families had almost no feelings for each other. Jia, she did not mind this feeling, deeply felt that listening to his wife was right, separating the family, this life was really too comfortable. Lu Shi was not as foolish as him. She was the one who gathered information from her maternal family and Nan Hoa's side. She knew that the emperor did not like to see the 4 archdukes and 8 dukes. So she was not afraid of offending Wang Zitong and also gave the emperor a signal, our family is very honest. We have severed all ties with those who are not well behaved. After the family split, Wang Shi offended both her mother's family and her husband's family. Even though she was clearly sick, she did not dare to reveal it, afraid of being laughed at by those with bad intentions. Jia Jing deeply felt that he had no face, and except for going to the Ministry of Public Works, he did not go anywhere, and kept a few guests to entertain himself. After Jia Zhou returned from school, he would test his education, often scolding him. He actually wanted to directly teach Bao Yu, but Jia's mother kept him by her side and would not let him go. Before there was Jia Hu's opposition, then there was a strict father and a mother's eager waiting. Jia Zhou's pressure grew bigger and bigger. In his sleep he was studying, gradually becoming thin. There were also many matters in the Lin family. Nan Hoa had originally been distant from the Jia residence, so she had never paid attention to Jia Zhou's matters. What she was troubled about now was that Lin Duke was at the age of going to school, and Lin Ruhai was now being valued by the emperor, so he did not have enough time to spend with the family, let alone teach the children. Thinking of the similar family with young children and several close wives, Nan Hoa carefully asked around. Unfortunately, ordinary families, especially scholarly families, all had their own family schools, but there weren't many references. Lin Ruhai returned and said he would look outside to see if there was a real scholar. The teacher was found, but Nan Hoa wanted to beat him up again, because this scholar who read all kinds of books was the crown prince's tutor. In other words, Lin Duk, who had not yet learned to read, would have to follow the 10th prince in the future, which was the crown prince studying. The emperor said that it was an imperial edict, even if he didn't want to, he still obediently sent his child to school. Nan Hoa didn't respond to Lin Ruhai for half a month. Poor Lin Ruhai smiled bitterly, he was just secretly looking for the teacher, who knew the emperor would find out. Although the emperor said he was helping him solve the problem, but this kind of solution, they really didn't want it. Therefore, Nan Hoa, who originally only needed to manage and raise the children, suddenly became busy. Now the emperor had already given birth to 2 sons, both of whom were born to concubines. Although the crown prince was the son of the empress, he was the youngest. Once Lin Duk went to school with the crown prince, the Lin family naturally became the crown prince's faction. The emperor was giving the crown prince an extra advantage, but Lin Duk was only 3 years old, no one could predict what would happen in the harem. Today, Lin Ruhai brought along Lin Yu, who had just been woken up from bed with dazed eyes. Nan Hoa couldn't sleep, so she went over to talk to Dayu. Dayu said that a few days ago, Nan Hoa took her to a gathering, and described what she and the other little sisters talked about, what they played, and also said that second sister of Chen's sister had a poetry gathering a few days ago. Dayu was a bit envious, and also wanted to do one in the future. Nan Hoa naturally agreed, and Dayu happily snuggled into her embrace, and also said that she had met a young lady, and heard that she was her maternal great-granddaughter, and that the young lady had a cheerful personality and was very adorable. It was just a game that the little girls played, whether good or bad. Nan Hoa smiled and listened, without judging or giving any advice. Wait until the afternoon, the empress looked for her to enter the palace again. Nan Hoa was frightened, thinking that something would happen to Lam Duk on the first day. After entering the palace, she found out that the empress sympathized with her, afraid that she would worry, so she called her to enter the palace first, so that she could see the child early after school. Nan Hoa has always been on good terms with the empress. Now that the empress's status has changed, no matter what the reason, she can still think for her, so she is naturally very grateful.